USA mentioned, and I quote, certain crimes are themselves so grievous an affront to humanity that the only adequate response may be the penalty of the death. Today, I would like to talk about why the death penalty is so important factor for society, and why should we keep this policy. The main points of my speech are categorized by four: the deterrent effect of death penalty, having a victim feel the end of the crime, and economic benefits of the death penalty, and rebuttals to opponents. First of all, I would like to talk about the deterrent effect of death penalty. Apparently, if the court judges criminals the death sentence to cases of the most heinous crimes, there are no chances for them to commit serious crimes again. However, there have been a lot of criminals who committed similarly heinous crimes again and again because of generous sentences. Charles Crawford, John McRae, John Miller, and so forth. For example, John Miller from California killed an infant 1957, convicted of murder 1958, and paroled 1975, killed his parents 1975, and got life sentence. Not to mention these three criminals, there have been many of criminals who committed felonies again and again because of the lenient sentences. And you can see the list of the criminals in the website www.prodeathpenalty.com. And I've got a lot of information from this website as well. Also, the existence of the death penalty prevents people from committing serious crimes in general. In other words, people are notified well enough about the consequence of the committing serious felonies. Thus, the general ratio of committing felony will decrease. The second point is that the death penalty will give an absolute relief for victims and the families of serious crimes that I will refer to the feeling of the end. I have a friend who came from South Africa, and she lost her entire family when she was 8. The criminals broke into her house and killed her father, grandfather, raped her mother, grandmother, herself, and her elder sister before they killed them all except her. And she doesn't even know where they are and who they are. But hypothetically speaking, if the criminals had got death sentences and were executed, she would have felt much better and had less painful time. Also, there are several victims who are still suffering with the fact that the criminals are still living well and prospering. They feel so unfair because they have been struggling with excruciating pain which are caused by the criminals. However, the criminals are still happy. The third point that I want to say is that it is a waste of money to have them in jail, to feed them, and to manage them. I don't think that we want to pay more taxes for such heinous criminals. It is definitely more economical executing the heinous criminals than putting them into jail. Lastly, I would like to refute two major arguments of the opponents. Opponents usually say that executing criminals costs more than having them into jail and letting them work. But what about the cost of the building and land? And what about the opportunity costs of jailers? And what about the pains that victims are having to do right now? And also, many opponents are concerned about the wrongful execution of innocent people. I agree with the idea that it's totally unfair and horrible. However, it's not the problem of the death penalty itself. It is the problem of the legal system of the United States of America. Thus, to solve the problem, it is necessary to improve the legal system of the USA. But blaming the death penalty is totally uncalled for. In short, not only does the death penalty prevent serious criminals from recommitting serious crimes, but it also gives an absolute relief for victims and families. Secondly, the death penalty, certainly it is more economical. Lastly, blaming the death penalty for wrongful execution is totally uncalled for, because it is not the problem of death penalty, but of legal system. John David Ashcroft, the 79th Attorney General punishment is a form of societal self-defense. In cases of most heinous crimes, the death penalty may be the only appropriate punishment. Do you still think death penalty of something that has to be gone? Here I would like to speak up. The death penalty is necessary evil, and justice suggests that we should protect the death penalty for public good and for victims who are still suffering with excruciating